It's my post-fight reaction to Raymond versus Tevin Farmer. It was a very good fight. I knew it was going to be a good fight. It was actually one of the fights I was looking forward to the most, even though I knew that Janet was fighting as the main event before it got canceled. I figured that the Tevin Farmer versus Muratalla fight was going to be a very good one. I feel like he did a lot in the fight to actually prove that he's at that level, not really sleeping on his competition like Muratalla. I think he did a good job. But yeah, Tevin Farmer, he started off very active in the first couple of rounds, like I expected him to. He was going to the body, jabbing very well. His tempo was going to slow down eventually, just overall, just because I know when he get into those later rounds, he'll do a lot more leaning and different things. And it doesn't help for the judges. The judges think that a lot of those shots he get hit with aren't clean because he has his hands down most of the time, and he does lean into the opponents. So it's just optics overall. You know, a lot of these judges, they're not really at that level to where they can see a lot of movement and things inside when these guys are fighting. They don't really got the view like over the top like most fans do when they're watching a fight. You know, that ringside view is a lot more different than people realize. You can't see the fight from different angles. But he was doing some good things early on in the fight. But coming into the fight, I knew that he was going to need a knockout. I thought that he also knew that because he made some remarks about it early on, saying that the Shaqy Foster fight was basically allegedly, mentioned that he would need a knockout, you know what I'm saying, on Top Rank just because of that situation alone. So I thought that he knew that going into this fight, man, it was going to be some trouble. It was going to be some fight. You know, the fight turned out the way I thought it was going to be. It was going to be a close fight. I feel like Tevin Farmer was going to basically outbox him most of the fight, and it was going to be close on the cards, and they was going to basically get him on the cards. And definitely with the styles and the way the styles match up and different things like that, I've seen him go into a fight and get basically hit less than what he got hit in that fight and end up losing. So it's happened to him a couple times. It definitely happens, especially when he's on these different platforms. He's not really a fighter with Top Rank or these other guys. So right now he's basically on his own when it comes to that situation. So yeah, he's definitely trying to make the best of what he's being offered right now. But with Muratalla, man, he was a lot more active in those later rounds. I feel like he's doing a better job in those later rounds, and he was stealing a lot of those rounds, trying to fight in the early part of the round and the later part of the round. I think Tevin Farmer wasn't really being mindful of that. And even though he will say his stamina was very good, at the end I wasn't impressed with the stamina. I just like the leaning and everything else. It makes it look worse than what it actually is when you're basically trying to do stuff that the judges will score as a good round for you or not. And with Muratalla being aggressive, majority of the rounds, even some of them he didn't win, that played a huge part in him getting some scores for him that he didn't deserve probably. Yeah, but I just think Tevin Farmer just needed to work a little bit more in the inside late in the fight, man. I feel like Muratalla kind of took the optics away from the fight because either way, you know, most people would think that Tevin Farmer was doing an excellent job boxing, but the aggression and everything late in the fight, it just made everything look worse than what it actually was. You know what I'm saying? Just from the outside looking in. Muratalla, he was dominating late rounds. I feel like Tevin Farmer in those fights like that, he lets the judges kind of get away with giving away rounds because he was doing leaning or wasn't as active as far as exchanging his punches. You know, because you can't get out punched and your aggression is low and the other opponent's aggression is higher and he's walking forward and everything else. So overall, they're going to go with that guy if he's doing that majority of the fight. And yeah, he was outboxing him most times in the fight, and he did an excellent job. But like I said, in most of the fights I've seen, he will lean on these guys a little too much, bro, like heavyweights or something like that. And it's just something I don't like. I'm not too impressed by that. A lot of fighters don't have to go through a fight leaning on most of these guys and wearing them down. Because when I see most people do that in certain fights, they say guys can't box and everything else. So across the board, I'm just not a fan of that. Yeah, I know clinching and everything else is part of boxing. Then he already knew when they tried to take a point away from him that the fix was in. So I thought, bro, like going into it, he should have already known after O'Shaquie Foster last week. Then with this fight, when they tried to take a point away from him, well, they did take a point away from him like the 6th, 7th round. He should have already knew then, like, man, this is going to be one of those nights where they're going to try to rob me. So he should let his hands fly throughout that whole fight. If you wasn't winded and tired and you had more in the tank, you should have emptied the tank, man. I feel like Muratalla, they going to give it to him. It was a top-ranked event. You already knew what time it was. But it was still a good fight, though. Still an excellent fight, but that was a risk he had to take. But overall, man, I understand the situation and people being upset and feel like it was a robbery. Yeah, it was. But it still could have went the other way. Like, either way. No matter what I feel about it, still could have went either way. Like, the aggression was just too low. Could have been higher. But that's all I got. Like and subscribe.